Hi everybody, here's my assignment for Beyond the Classroom Week 7. The purpose of this week's assignment was to begin to understand how to use data tables. Last week we understood how to use graphs and sparklines to visualize our data, and now we're understanding how to go through this data through the use of tables and its tools. So as you can see here, we had about 3 major points of this assignment: conditional formatting, sorting, and then equations based on these formats. So first we did some conditional formatting. If I go through to my Home tab, to my conditional formatting tab, manage my rules, oops, we got to make sure we have this selected. That's probably smart to do. Here we go. So now we go to manage rules, and here we can see that we created an entirely new rule to be able to go through this data. Our rule uses a dated ifs equation to go and see if our date is actually 30 days or older than our target date of today. So with that, we can conditionally format all of this data to go through either no label or a red fill with red text. From this point, we go to our data tab, our sort tab, and we begin to filter through, or begin to sort through all of this data. So first, we sort through our red colored data cells, and then we can start to alphabetize the department that these cells are being referenced to. So once we're done with this conditional formatting and the sorting of the formatted cells, we can begin to create a status based on the formatting. So here, if we go into our equation bar, we can see that we used 2 equations together. We used the dated if statement that we used in our conditional formatting to see how many days old our product is. And with that number, we're able to see, with the use of the if statement, if that statement is true. If that statement is true, much like the conditional formatting, which led to a red fill, we can lead to a text-based answer, which is discard. If this item is not to be discarded, we can leave a blank space, as we can see here. So as we go through, we can see that there's only about 10 items that need to be discarded. A quicker way to go through is to use the filter button. We can deselect all of our blanks, close this, and we're left with just our discarded items. So with this smaller portion of data, we can see that we also use a total that uses a count statement. So as we see here, we can see that we also use a count if equation that goes through our referenced status column and tries to see if there's a discard. What this does is helps us go through all of the blanks and make sure they aren't counted all towards our total. So this is basically all that we used for this week's assignment: our sorts, conditional formatting, and equations. I think the biggest thing that I took away from this assignment was our conditional formatting that you can see here. I've gone through a lot of data at work before, and knowing now that there's a way to go through this data much faster and easier with much clearer results through the use of text fills and highlights, it's definitely a powerful tool that I'll be using in the future. So thank you for listening, and see you next week.